Welcome back to my channel. We are in a new setting today, so I hope you like it. Today we are going to be doing a very timeless makeup look that will be perfect for any special occasion, and it won't look outdated in a few years. So let's get started. I am breaking out quite a bit because I have been eating an obscene amount of dairy for someone who is lactose intolerant. You can definitely start off with a primer if you have one. I just don't have a primer right now. I have one coming in the mail, but I just don't have one right now. So I'm gonna skip that step and we're gonna go in with foundation first. For the foundation, I'm gonna be using the e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation in the shade 21. And please feel free to use whatever products you have and whatever products that you love. This is more for, the technique and the look inspiration more than use these products. So I'm gonna go in with a sponge just because I like the way foundation looks on my skin more when it's applied with a sponge. I have a very dry face. I have a really dry skin, so using a sponge definitely makes my foundations look a lot more skin-like and absorb just into my skin a little bit more. So I was thinking we can do like tutorial Tuesdays where the tutorials will be a little more in-depth. Maybe it'll be certain features like how to do your eyebrows, how to do your winged eyeliner on hooded lids, just kind of bringing it back to basics. So these tutorials will be a little more detailed and a little more focused on techniques that I've picked up that have worked for me and I want to share with you guys, especially if you are someone who's a little newer to makeup. And I am actually bringing that foundation on top of my brows, so everything is covered essentially. For concealer, I'm going to go in with the NYX Bear With Me Serum Concealer in the shade Fair, mixed with the LA Colors concealer in the shade Light. And the only reason I'm mixing these is because of color. One's too light for me and the other one's too dark. So I'm putting the concealer on my orbital bone a little bit further away from my eye, and then I'm going to blend it up into my under eyes and a little bit lower, like down along the side of my nose. And because I don't have an eyeshadow primer, I'm just putting this on my eyelids as well and blending it up into my brow area. And since my mustache area is a little bit dark and I've been slacking buying more wax strips, so that's really why I have a mustache right now. So I'm covering it up with concealer, which I really wish I knew to do this when I was like in high school, because I didn't wax my upper lip back then and I was so self-conscious about my little mustache. And since this area is just a little darker for me, I felt like it was so enhanced and I wasn't allowed to wear makeup. So I was just like so self-conscious about my mustache in high school and middle school. And I'm just putting what's left of that concealer on the bridge of my nose and a little bit on the tip of my nose and just bringing it up through my brows onto my forehead a little bit. And then with what's ever left on my sponge, I'm gonna put it on my chin. I just don't want my chin to be like extra bright, but I do want it to be balanced, so that's why I'm putting some right here. And especially since I'm breaking out right there, it's actually the perfect amount to kind of conceal all of that. For setting powder, I'm going to be using the Well People Bio-Based Baked Brightener Universal Glow Setting Powder. I've been really liking pushing the product into my brush first, so I'm actually going to push this into the lid and swirl it around and then tap off the excess. And then I'm going to go and put it onto my face. And I'm setting just underneath my eyes, on my eyelids, around my nose, essentially where I don't want any of my makeup to move and where I typically would get shiny if I was sweating. And I'm doing like little small patting motions to kind of push that product in. We're gonna come back to our face in just a second. I do wanna get my brows done. So I'm just gonna use a brow pencil and I'm following just my natural brow shape. And I'm just not using very much pressure at all. And I'm just doing very small hair-like strokes. I'm not extending my brow that much further than what my natural brow wants to do. And I'm kind of keeping it like a straighter brow. So I kind of have all the gaps filled in at like the tail of my brow. I kind of stopped once I got to my middle of my brow, and I'm not really putting any product on my inner brow at all right now. Next, I'm going to go in with a defining pencil, and you definitely don't need to do all these steps. The only reason why I use that first brow pencil is because I'm trying to get rid of it. I'm trying to use it up. So if you only have one brow pencil, use your one brow pencil. I'm going to go in with the NYX micro brow pencil in the shade Ash Brown, and I'm just going to do, again, really small hair-like really small hair-like strokes, mainly at the tail of my brow, and I do want this to be a bit more defined. Just because this is a special occasion and we're having a pretty heavy base and our eye makeup isn't going to be all that intense, but we do want it to be done. Like, we don't want it to be overly like no makeup look. And now I'm just using that spoolie and brushing out my brow hairs just to make this all look a bit more natural, and this will naturally pick up some product onto the spoolie. So I use the remaining product and then I just go in and brush my hairs on my inner brow, and I feel like this is plenty of product to define this area for me without it looking too heavy. And I do want to say, I am not a professional makeup artist. I am just a makeup enthusiast, and these are just tips that I've learned from just doing my makeup and playing around with makeup. So these are just my tips to you. If a makeup artist tells you something otherwise, do that. So just to top this off, and you can definitely leave your brows like this, but I've really been loving using a brow mascara to define my inner brow without looking too harsh. So I'm gonna go in with the e.l.f. Wow Brow in the shade Natural Brown, and I'm just gonna comb this, focusing this on the inner part of my brow and then slowly moving it outward. This isn't gonna make your brows like stand straight up, or, you know, there's not that great of a hold, but it definitely defines my brow hairs. I've been really liking this product for like my no makeup days too. I'm gonna be using the NYX Buttermelt Bronzer in the shade Buttercup, and I'm going to dip this in with a big fluffy brush, tap off the excess, and then I'm going to kind of brush this into my hand to really push that product into the brush. And then I'm going to brush this along my cheekbones. And I'm actually not contouring in this look, so I'm gonna be using this as a way to define my face. So I'm running this really like not specific areas, just on my cheekbones, kind of down my cheeks as well, across my chin, jawline, and I'm putting very little pressure on my brush. And when I get to my nose, I'm kind of going in up and down motions just to bring some color back into my face. So if you can tell, this side already looks a lot slimmer, even though I didn't contour, but just bringing that color and structure back into my face and bringing some shadows back to my face already helps define my face a lot more. And by bringing it down my cheeks, it kind of helps hide my like chubbier cheeks and like my round face a little bit more, and that's just personal preference. Doing different techniques is going to give you a different look. Even if certain techniques are trending right now, it doesn't mean you can't make them timeless, I don't think. It's just about the colors you choose to use. Like if it suits your skin tone, it's gonna suit your skin tone like throughout the years. And if you're just like using a moderate to light hand with everything you do and not, you know, overdo any particular step, I think it's just gonna be a very timeless look in general. And as long as the techniques suit your face and your facial features, I think that'll also tie into making this look a little more timeless. If you feel like you went overboard, just go in with your sponge, no additional product, and just, you know, tap around, blend it all out. And we are almost done with our face. We're gonna go in with the Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush in the shade Pretty Peachy. And I just love how glowy this one is. It's almost like a highlighter and a blush mixed together. And I'm gonna go into very circular motions and kind of bring it out this way. And it just suits my facial features a lot better than some other blush techniques that I've tried. I forgot to mention that with the bronzer brush, with whatever's left over, I'm just running that on my eyelids also. And this will just give your entire face a very like seamless look. Everything's kind of just very blended together, and I've been really liking this look lately. And I'm gonna do the same with my blush. No additional product, just whatever's left over, and just put it on my eyelids and also on my nose. So I'm gonna go in with the Lash Step Matte About You palette. I think it's a beautiful neutral palette that really suits my skin tone. So I'm gonna go in with a big fluffy brush, and I'm gonna go in with this pink shade right here. And again, I've just been like rubbing my brush on this mirror to kind of push that product in, and then tapping off the excess. And I'm gonna go above my crease actually. Really light hand, and I'm kind of buffing this out so it's a very seamless blended look. Next, with a little bit more of a dense fluffy brush, I'm gonna go in with this brown shade right here. I'm gonna focus this on my outer corner right here and above my crease, but really focusing on the outer corner. Again, I'm using a very light hand. And then I'm gonna go in with a little bit of a darker brown right here and a more defined flat brush. And I'm going to bring that onto my lower lash line below my lashes. And I'm kind of building this area out. I'm gonna dip the same brush into that pink color we put down earlier and just blending out that brown. And again, with that darkest brown that we've been using, I'm gonna go in with an even more dense fluffy brush and really just putting it right at the outer corner and right into the crease. Now with our fingers, we're gonna go into this white shade right here, and I'm going to put that on my lid and my inner corner. And I'm kind of being a little messy with this, using my finger to kind of blend the shades together. And I'm using white because I'm so fair, but definitely just use a lighter shade than your skin tone, especially if you're a little darker. White could look a little harsh on you, so don't feel pressured to use white. Just use a lighter shade and pop that in your inner lid. So this is kind of like your eyeshadow look done, and this is where you can kind of go in to use some like sparkly shades if you like a little bit of sparkle accent, a little bit of shimmery shades for a shimmer accent, and as long as you keep it pretty neutral, it can still be very timeless of a look. I'm gonna go in with a pink sparkly shade from the Going Coconuts palette by ColourPop. It's gonna be this pink sparkly shade right here, and I'm using a very tiny brush, and I'm kind of just putting it at the highest point of my lid and drag it into my inner corner, kind of blend it out both ways. And on my inner corner on my lower lash line. For eyeliner, I'm going to use the CoverGirl Perfect Point Plus eyeliner pencil in the shade Espresso. And I'm gonna use this to line my upper waterline. And it's essentially that little gap between your eyeball and your lashes, that space right there. As it comes out to the outer corner, I'm gonna let it run onto my lashes a little bit, but we're gonna keep it pretty tight on the inner corner. And I'm gonna use a very small angled brush. And I'm going to smudge out my upper lash line where that pencil kind of got on top of the lashes, like on our lid a little bit. And I'm just blending that out. And that'll give a very nice smudged, smokier look. And this is a great way to define your upper lash line, especially if you have hooded lids like I do and you don't want to take up too much lid space. You want your eyes to look open still, but still defined. This is a great way to do that. And for my lower waterline, I'm gonna go in with the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Frosting. If you have a nude eyeliner, that will also work. And this will really just open up our eyes a little bit. So if you like this look, you could definitely just put on some mascara and call it a day. But I'm gonna give myself a little baby wing. So I'm gonna go in with a brown liquid liner and I'm gonna draw myself just the tiniest wing. So I'm actually gonna go underneath my crease. And kind of extend it out like that underneath the crease, and then I'm going to connect it just the smallest, babiest amount back to my lash line on top of this line that we drew already. And if you can see, even that top line, I kept it under the crease as much as I could, and that's it. That's my baby wing. This eye, the crease definitely comes down a little further, so I will have to draw on my crease a little bit just to keep it symmetrical. So it's still under my crease. I kind of had to go on my crease a little bit. Since this eye has a little bit more excess skin, it tugs a little bit. So it's a little harder to put the eyeliner on. So I have to use even less pressure and just do the tiniest strokes so that it doesn't move the skin around too much, draw too harsh of a line in a space that I don't want it to go. So I definitely have to be a little more patient as my skin has gotten a little saggier as I've aged, which is normal. We just have to learn to work with it. So we've got our two baby wings, and I'm gonna curl my lashes, put on some mascara. For my mascara, I'm gonna go in with the Heroin Make Volume Mascara in the waterproof one. This one is so waterproof, it will not come off. And I kind of love that for a special occasion because you don't want your mascara running. You might be crying, you might be sweating, who knows. You don't want to worry about your mascara running all over your face and be forever remembered in your photos. And the mascara technique I'm using is actually one I learned from my last video in the TikTok hacks. And I kind of love the way my lashes have been looking. And I am gonna run some mascara on my lower lashes as well. And to make our lashes look a little bit more flawless, just as an extra step, I'm using a clean spoolie and I'm going to give them a little brush. And it kind of just helps take off any extra clumps of mascara you may have gotten on there and look just a little more fluffy. You can also use false lashes if you want. If you do, I would suggest you use something a little less dramatic, just a little more wispy, like the Ardell Wispy lashes, where it's not significantly longer than your natural lashes, but it gives a little more volume, but not too much. I think that is kind of key to keeping things timeless. You don't want like a big, full, dramatic set of lashes because those can look very dated, but as long as you keep it pretty natural looking or natural to you, then it'll look fine. But I definitely was guilty of wearing those like very extreme cocoa lashes to all the weddings I was in, so I apologize to all of my friends' photos, but I also just liked the look and I don't think they were that crazy. I don't think, hope not. To finish that off, I'm just using a highlighter that I have and I'm gonna pop some on my inner corners, just a little bit on the bridge of my nose. I'm definitely using more of a natural highlight, or the most natural that I have, not like a very, very bright shimmery highlight. But if you have one that kind of mimics a glow from within, definitely stick with that one. And I just added some on the tip of my nose. I've just been really loving that. I've loved it for over 10 years now, so that's just my personal preference. And for your lips, as long as you stick with something that's suited to your skin undertone, you can kind of go with whatever color you'd like. Like if you like a berry lip, you can go with that. If you like a more pink lip or a red lip, just as long as it's something kind of suited to your skin tone, I think you can get away with whatever lip color you want. So for me, I'm gonna go in with the NYX lip pencil in the shade Natural, and I'm going to kind of define my lips first. And this is just a very similar color to my natural lip color. And I'm kind of putting a line down the middle of my lips and on either side of this little thing right here to give myself a little bit more of like a puffier, poutier look without overlining my lips, just because I don't feel like I need to overline my lips. If you want to, and if that looks good on you and you feel comfortable doing that, then do that. Do what you feel the most beautiful in. And then I'm gonna go in with the e.l.f. lip pencil in a pink shade, and I'm kind of coloring in my lip and then blending it out with my fingers. Now I'm gonna go in with the e.l.f. clear lip oil, which is not clear anymore. But if you do want to keep your lip oils clear, just wipe off your applicator after using it so your product stays clear, but I clearly did not do that. And I think this just looks very hydrated. It's not like overly glossy, but it just looks healthy. And if you want a matte lip, definitely stick with a matte lip. It's kind of just up to your own personal preference, but I think the colors in general and the technique is what makes a look timeless or not. As long as the makeup suits your features, then a look will stay pretty timeless. So that is my completed look. I think this is timeless. It's suited for so many different special occasions, even just for whatever day you want to look and feel a little more glam, but still look like yourself, a better version of yourself, like a natural glam makeup look that can stand through the test of time. And I do want to state, I don't think trends are a bad thing. I think you can learn a lot from trends, and they're really fun when you're a part of a big trend, and like looking back on it, you might regret it later. But it's also like a fun memory, like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking kind of thing, but everyone was doing it. So I don't think trends are a bad thing, but for photos like wedding photos or engagement photos or just very special occasions, I think sticking with more of a timeless look might be more of your friend, so you don't look back at those photos in particular and think, what was I thinking? That is what this look is for. It's for those moments where you just want something to age very well and you don't want to look back and regret your makeup. Anyway, that is all from me today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you soon. Bye.